Allo, oui, bonsoir. I'm the Mademoiselle and Sassy Dixième Chanel Win. As you guys can tell by the title of today's video, we're going to be doing another Crick Crack. When I say crack, you guys go in the comment section and you respond crack. Now, as many of you guys know, I do a lot of these, but there's sometimes I gotta take a break because sometimes a lot of y'all stories be stressing me out, okay? Sometimes I'll be looking at some of these stories and I'm like, I do not have the capacity. And the crazy part about it is I never read these fully before I get on camera. I'll just look at the gist of it. Like I'll look at like the first couple lines and the last couple lines. And then I'm like, all right, you know what? Let's just add this together because it's kind of like hard to do it any other way. Like I really want it to be an organic reaction. So of course, if you have your own stories, make sure you send them right here. The email's on the screen. Do not send it to my business email or any other email. Send it directly to this email or I'm going to toss it in the trash. Also, I broke a nail yesterday. I didn't have time to get it done. So I hate filming when I broke a nail. Literally, I'll sit here and wait to get it done before I film, but don't nobody got time for that right now, okay? So we just got to deal with it. First of all, my name is... We're not going to say it. Again, when you send your stories, please make sure they are anonymous. I'm not going to say no names because I don't got time for no problems, okay? So we're just going to say Margaret. First of all, my name is Margaret, and I'm sorry for the grammar errors. And for the first time I saw your video on YouTube, they're so interesting. I prefer writing in French. My mom told me this story since I was young, and I was like terrified by it. The story happened in Senegal in the commune of Fatick, and in Fatick, there was a village there. And my mom and her cousin came back from Fatick Center to the little village, so they really didn't know what was going on there. Because it was a village, the place where... the place where they sleep was in the center of the compound, and there were toilets outside, and the kitchen also was outside. You kind of have to walk to get to the toilet. And when my mom and her cousin came, they were immediately told that as soon as it becomes dark outside, don't get out of the house. This reminds me of the story that I told, well, not even, like, kind of like the warning that I told you guys about not walking around Haiti at night. Like, it is such a real thing, and it's so funny because a lot of people were sitting there like, well, I don't get it. You shouldn't go anywhere at night. Like, no, nigga, you don't get it. For people that were raised Caribbean, African, maybe even some Eastern countries, y'all know there are crazy things that walk around at night, and the night is for them, okay? It is not for us humans. Like, you will literally lose your life. For that reason alone, they bought those pots where you pee and you do your stuff inside the house so that you won't need to go to the toilet. But sadly, that day when the night arrived, everyone was sleeping. My cousin's mom went to the bathroom, but the bucket was full. She couldn't support it, so she disobeyed and went to the toilet outside, and it was around 3 a.m. And when she went outside in the toilet, she said she saw a couple of ghosts. They were like transparent green, and they looked like humans with all the details of a human's face. My mom's cousin saw them, and she was so confused, panicked, and worried. She thought she would die. Then the couple saw her. That's the last thing she remembered in the morning. In the morning, her family found her on the ground of the compound, not the toilets. When she finally woke up, she couldn't speak. She was traumatized. Everyone was asking her questions, but she didn't answer. Everyone in the village was speculating that it was the white couple, 2 tourists that died in the area years ago. That is wild. Can you imagine visiting somewhere and dying as a tourist and being stuck there? Oh my goodness. Like sometimes, like, randomly I'll think like I really want to die in a noble way, right? Like saving a child from a burning house, or like literally offering my organs to someone that I love. Like I don't ever want to die tragically or unexpectedly in a way that like keeps my soul trapped somewhere I don't want to be. You feel me? Like this is so sad. I would really love to hear more about this story. So if you're watching this, please send me the link. That's actually like really, really sad. My mom and her cousin went back to the city, and she still didn't speak. Whole years, they tried everything. It was like she was just an empty body without a soul. That's wild. So the ghost stole her soul, maybe? Child, I don't know. I've heard things like this with like people seeing different beings and stuff, but not necessarily from a ghost. So I don't know. The girl is traumatized forever. But 2 years after the incident, after many sessions of deliverance and stuff like that, she started speaking and explained what happened. Since that day, she never went back to the village. That's the little true story I wanted to tell you from my mom. Bye. Thank you so much for sharing. I will say, like, I see ghosts and stuff all the time. They don't really do anything. For the most part, most ghosts can't hurt you, but there are some ghosts out there that can. There are some ghosts out there that have some sort of powers that other ghosts don't. I never understood why. I've never actually tried to look into that. Like, there's some people who have souls that are able to do things to us in the real life while they're in their afterlife, but there's some ghosts that really can't do nothing but like scare us. And I've always wanted to know, like, is there some sort of hierarchy? Like, is it something that has to do with how many times you visited Earth? Does it have to do with your lineage? I've always wanted to know how that works because I've never been hurt by a ghost. A ghost has never like sat there and like tried to beat me up or anything like that. But I hear so many stories all the time. And I'm just like, how the fuck does this happen? Like, it's so crazy. Now, of course, we have another story. Good morning, Yvana. I have recently subscribed to every platform I believe belong to you. Thank you so much. I love you and your content. Thank you for sharing and educating. In you and the rest of the people on your page, I have found my place. Oh, thank you. Get your drink because I need some insight on this. De second. You ain't got to tell me twice. We're going to be drinking my Propel. It's too early, y'all. Like, it's literally 8:06 in the morning. I can't be drinking nothing crazy. I actually don't even drink like that anymore. Shockingly, right? My spirits don't like it. They be like, so you're not going to take this shot? You're just going to leave us our rum and you're not going to drink it with us? Have fun. I'm not drinking it with y'all. Like, I'm not, no, because no. If you guys are unaware, like when you're not in your right state of mind, so when you're high, when you're drunk or whatever, that's when spirits really do the most. Y'all already do the most when I'm sober. I don't want no parts, okay? I apologize now if it's confusing, but that will come together in the story. Small background on me. I was born and raised in Alabama. I don't know much about my early family. Like many people, when the matriarchs and patriarchs transition, they take knowledge with them. Oh my God, this is so accurate. I can't stand that. I be feeling so bad when people tell me, like, and they write into me like, oh, I don't know, like, who I am. I don't know where I'm from. Like, it's so unfortunate. I became very interested in why I see, hear, feel, scent, or dream things. I found out I was a veil baby, complete with sack and all. Oh, gang, gang, gang. I could see my ancestors and spiritual team or anyone else after they passed on as clear as I can see the living, but no one else could. And I often was called weird, a pretender, a hardcore liar. I never knew about any gifts or what was wrong with me. It was never talked about in the house. So fun fact, right? I've never had anyone say I was lying or crazy, anything like that. I wish somebody the fuck would, because literally I'll beat you up. But the thing is with me, I don't tell everyone, and it's not something I go around talking about. It's not an identity for me. For a lot of people, that's their identity. You know, I see dead people. I'm a witch. I do this. I genuinely don't have time for it. I just, listen, it's just not me. I have so many more things going on for myself that it just doesn't have to be a personality trait. But on rare occasions, especially when someone close to me has someone that dies, I almost always see them. I will say I always find it crazy when I can't, because then that means probably something's going on with their soul, or maybe they really are resting in peace and they ain't trying to come. But like, for example, I had a friend, real close friend of mine, one of her parents passed away, right? And I literally saw him the entire time at the funeral. And I had to tell her, I was like, yo, like, your dad is in here. I don't know why he's not I don't know why he's not enjoying his time in the afterlife or whatever. Maybe he has some unfinished business, but like he is just chilling here around the church. Like I first saw him when I was walking in the church. I saw him outside in the church. I saw him inside, like kind of just like lurking around. And I know she didn't think I was crazy, but she was kind of like a little like, But then her daughter saw him, literally same places I saw him, same times. I didn't get to see her because she had like left out when I came in. When she was coming in and when I was leaving, like I didn't get to see her, but like literally around the same time. Like I think, like say it was like maybe 10:30 a.m., right? I was like, oh wow, like I literally saw him outside the church. She was like, oh wow, like around like 10:40, I was walking in with my daughter and she was saying she saw him outside too. So yeah, like typically if someone could corroborate the story, it makes you seem a lot less crazy. But to be honest, I've never in my life had somebody call me crazy for that. But I can see why someone would call you crazy for that, because that is freaking nuts, and not everyone can see, hear, feel spirits or whatever the case may be. It's very wild. And apparently as children, you tend to see, feel, and be able to communicate more. But unfortunately, as we get older and people like put things in our head, we kind of just like, don't, or we kind of just like, or there's people that do and they just don't talk about it, One day in my mid-20s, I was riding with my boyfriend at the time, let's call him Sam, to take his father home. His father lived in a very rural area, and it was a long drive out. Well, while driving, I noticed all the flashing lights, and I said, I hope whatever has happened up there, everything and everyone is safe. Sam looked at me and said, what do you mean? And I said, all the paramedics, firefighters, and helicopters ahead. He looked as if I had lost my mind. Well, continuing with the ride, I became extremely tired and sleepy. I do not remember falling asleep, but during my sleep, I remember being put on what I thought was a helicopter. I heard voices, but couldn't seem to focus my eyes on who was talking. I do wear glasses, but I could only see blurs and shapes. I heard a female voice say to me in another language with a strong accent, baby, find your place in life, as she held my hand really tight. She rubbed my head and said, you will understand one day. I guess I was asking questions, but how did I understand her? Nothing was English. When I was able to open my eyes completely and focus on my surroundings is when I felt my body being placed back in the seat I was in while driving. When I looked at the time, for whatever reason, the clock was flashing 12. I'm guessing 12 midnight. I hope so. As if the car battery was disconnected. Oh, wow, that's wild. Sam was confused. He said to me, you slept through the car shutting off. I don't know what the cause of it was. And now you're awake and the car starts this crazy, or maybe, okay, the car starts acting crazy. And by the way, I still did not see the paramedics you were talking about. So maybe you needed to sleep. I was confused because I knew what I thought I saw. And every time I tried to explain my experience, I could never get the words right. I don't know what was done to me, but I felt free and heavily guarded after this. 30 years later, I do not know of Haitian or Creole descendants in my family, but I keep hearing it when I meditate. I was even told to learn the language. I look back over things that I grew up with in my house and my grandparents that was normal to me and strange to others. Now that I've been incorporating those things in my day-to-day life. So my question is, how can I find out why everything is experienced in the past and now has been on a Creole level? I'm trying to understand the question. On a Creole level? Can someone explain to me what that means? I am drawn to Haiti like a kid to candy. Anything that has to do with the culture, lifestyle is pressure on me, like I should be with them. I'm glad I found your platforms because I have had answers to lifelong questions and I know I am not alone. I have so many experiences that would shake the normal person to sleep. Thank you for listening. So of course, thank you so much for sending in your story. I don't know. There's Creole and then there's Haitian. That's two different things, even though they are closely related in culture and in history. So I don't know. I really don't understand the question. I'm not even gonna hold you. In regards to you being drawn to Haiti, apparently a lot of people, especially spiritual people, are. But as I always say on my channels, you have to be very careful with these things. Even Haitian people cannot commune with certain spirits. There's a lot that goes into it. There's a lot of redlining. There's a lot of yellow tape. Like, you can't just, oh, I'm Haitian, let me do this. Or, oh, I love Haiti, let me do that. Like, that's just not how it works. Again, talk about this all the time on my channel. I will say, like, this is kind of interesting to me, and it reminds me of an episode of Evil. I talked about Evil before in one of my most recent videos. It is a show that follows a priest, an atheist, and a psychologist, and they go and they solve spiritual mysteries. And it's so interesting because almost every episode ends with like, oh no, it was just medical or it was psychological, but then you see like the spiritual behind it. Such an interesting show. Definitely go watch it. You can also watch Lucifer. Really great show as well. Really talks about so many things in the Bible, God, the devil, stuff like that. Really great. Now in regards to Evil, the reason I brought it up is there is an episode. Hopefully I can find it, because I don't even remember it completely. But in the final season, the priest starts having these visions, and he finds out that he has a gift that can place him in certain parts of the world if he, meditates long enough or whatever the case may be. I cannot remember the name of this gift, but apparently it's a real thing. And essentially it involves channeling yourself into certain scenes that are currently happening, in order to help or see what's going on, whatever the case may be. And that's why, he ended up having that gift and having to exercise it, because the archdiocese was like, hey, we have some missionaries, we have some priests, we have some nuns or whatever that are trapped in, like, I don't know, Africa or whatever, and we need you to channel this. And it was so interesting because I'm like, oh, wow, that's an interesting gift that I would not want. I would not want to be able to channel myself into people's houses and lives and see that they about to kill somebody. Now I got to stop it. Don't even got time for that shit. Feel me? But that is a real thing. I feel like it's something that does have to be cultivated, or it goes away, or if you don't exercise it, it turns into something very unpleasant. Because at the time when I was watching the episode, I did look into it. I just cannot remember the name of it right now. Hopefully I can find the clip or I can find some information and I'll link it down below. But again, thank you so much for sharing your story. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, I'm going to be trying to open up memberships on this channel. I just don't know what to offer. If you guys have any ideas, make sure you comment them down below. I already have a Patreon, so if you'd like to support, that is linked down below. I'm more than likely going to release memberships on my main channel first, so if you're interested in that content, make sure you go join there. With that being said, make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe, and I'm going to see y'all next time. Bye!